Microphone.
Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Shri Guru Chara Padma Kevala Bhakti Sama Shri Guru Chara Padma Kevala Bhakti Sama Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bando Sadhana Mate Bando moy savadhana mate Bando moy savadhana mate Jara prasade Guru Atma Vakya Chitre Koriya Guru Mukha Padavaya Chitre Koriya Kya Mukha Padavaya Chitre Koriya Kya Arana Kori Ho Mane Asha Arana Kori Ho Mane Asha Arana Kori Ho Mane Asha Rati ऐसे उत्तम गति चाले रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चारणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति शीघ्र चराने रति ऐसे उत्तम गति साध पूरे सर्व आशा ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुधन दिल जन्मे जन्म प्रभु से चक्षुधन चक्षुधन दिल जन्मे जन्म प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ ते अविद्या बिना जाते भक्ति जहाँ ते अविद्या विनाश नाते विद्याय जय चरितो विद्याय जय चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सुवादम नरबंधु श्री गुरु करुणा बंधु धमचर बंधु लोकात लोके जीवाना लोके नाथ लोके जीवाना प्रभु हृदय हो मोरे पाद छाया प्रभु हृदय हो रे पाद छाया भुवाना व्यास सुत्रुवाना प्रभुपाद तपना प्रभुपाद तपना प्रभुपाद तपना श्री प्रभुपाद तपना जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 ओ प्रभुपाद 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 नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भाई वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी सत्या सतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gaur Hari, Gopal Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Raman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopal Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Raman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, Nita 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 Gauranga, Nita 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 Gauranga, Nita Gauranga Gaur Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokul Nanda, Radha Gokul Nanda Radhe. Oh Jaya Radha Gokul Nanda, Radha Gokul Nanda Radhe. Oh Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya. Oh Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva. Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nagar Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the affection that fulfills all desires. He is my darkened eyes, fills my heart with knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, and by him it is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the lord and master devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Who is the shade of your lotus? May your face spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
No point was leaving it open, is it? Leaving it. Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Brajjanarandana Yasodanandana Brajjanarandana Jamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yasodanandana Brajjanarandana Yasodanandana Brajjanarandana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. It's 2108.
21?
Madhya 20, verse 108.
108, yeah. Shall I display on the projector?
If you want, yeah.
I can do that. It's gone? Oh, okay, it's gone. It's not.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. This is what happens usually. But everybody's got their smartphone probably.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
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 Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
So reading from Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 20. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatana Swami in the science of absolute truth. Text number 108 and 109. Jivera Swarup Hai Krishnera Nityadas. Jivera Swarup Hai Krishnera Nityadas. Krishnera Tatasta Shakti Veda Veda Prakash. Krishnera Tatasta Shakti Veda Veda Prakash. Suryam Shak Kirana Yache Agni Jwala Chaya. Where's your smart? This is a perfection of smartphones. It's called, what's it, Yukta Vairagya, is it? Alright. Jiver, alright. Suryam Sakirana Yaichi Agni Jwala Chaya. Svabhavika Krishna Ratina Prakaras Shaktihaya. Svabhavika Krishna Ratina Prakara Shaktihaya. Has everybody got it? Anyway, we'll go through once more. Jivera Swarubhaya Krishnera Nityadasa. Krishnera Tatasta Shakti Veda Veda Prakasha. Suryam Shakirana Yachi Agnik Jwala Chaya. Svabhika Krishnera Tina Prakara Shakti Haya. Anybody like to try? Jivera Swarubhaya Krishnera Nityadasa. Krishnera Tatasta Shakti Veda Veda Prakasha. Suryam Sakirana Chayachi Agni Jwala Chaya. Svabhika Krishnera Tina Prakara Shakti Haya. Jivera Swarubhaya Krishnera Nityadasa. Krishnera Tatasta Shakti Veda Veda Prakasha. Suryamsa Kirana Yachi Agni Jwala Chaya Svabhika Krishna Ratina Pakara Shakti Haya Jivera Sarupahaya Krishnera Nityadasa Krishnera Tatashta Shakti Veda Veda Prakasha Suryam Saskirana Yachi Agni Jwala Chaya Svabhika Jivera of the living entities. Swarupa, the constitutional position. Haya is Krishnera of Lord Krishna. Nityadasa, eternal servant. Krishnera of Lord Krishna. Tatashta, marginal. Shakti, potency. Veda Aveda, one and different. Prakasha, manifestation. Suryamsa, part and parcel of the sun. Kirana, a ray of sunshine. Yaiche, as. Agni Jwala Chaya, molecular particle of fire. Svabhavika, naturally. Krishnera, of Lord Krishna. Tina Prakara, three varieties. Shakti, energies. Haya, there are. Translation. It is a living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because he is the marginal energy of Krishna, and manifestation simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. Like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire, Krishna has three varieties of energy. In response, please. It is a living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because he is the marginal energy of Krishna, and a manifestation simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. Like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire, Krishna has three varieties of energy. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains these verses as follows. Sri Sanatana Swami asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "Who am I?" In answer, the Lord replied, "You are a pure living entity. You are neither the gross material body nor the subtle body, composed of mind and intelligence. Actually, you are a spirit soul, eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, Krishna. Therefore, you are the eternal servant. You belong to Krishna's marginal potency. There are two worlds, the spiritual world and the material world, and you are situated between the material and spiritual potencies. You have a relationship with both the material and the spiritual world. Therefore, you are called the marginal potency. You are related with Krishna as one and simultaneously different. Because you are spirit, soul, you are one in quality with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but because you are a very minute particle of spirit, soul, you are different from the Supreme Soul. Therefore, your position is simultaneously one with and different from the Supreme Soul. The examples given are those of the sun itself and a small particle of sunshine, and of a blazing fire and the small particles of fire. Another explanation of these verses can be found in Adi Leela, chapter 2, verse 96. Om Gantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pastacha Deshatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I ought to have quoted another verse actually before. But anyway, this is our position. And I'll just read the verse that I really wanted to do. And it's when Sanatana Swami, he approaches Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he's moved. Putting a straw in his mouth and bowing down, Sanatana Swami clasps the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and humbly spoke as follows. Sanatana Swami said, I was born in a low family and my associates are all low-class men. I myself am fallen and am the lowest of men. Indeed, I have passed my whole life fallen in the well of sinful materialism. Actually, Sanatana Swami belonged to a Brahmin family because he belonged to the Sarasvat division of the Brahmins and was well cultured and well educated. Somehow or other he accepted a ministership in the Muslim government. Therefore he had to associate with meat-eaters, drunkards and gross materialists. Sanatana Swami considered himself fallen, for in the association of such men he also fell victim to material enjoyment. Having passed his life in that way, he considered that he had wasted his valuable time. His statement about how one can become fallen in the material world is made by the greatest authority in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Actually, the whole world is presently fallen in material existence. Everyone is a meat-eater, drunkard, woman-hunter, gambler and whatnot. People are enjoying material life by committing the four basic sins. Although they are fallen, if they simply submit themselves at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will be saved from sinful reaction. So, Sanatana Swami is the elder brother of Rupa Goswami. So he's like the chief of the Goswamis in one respect by age. And it was very learned in Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the other quality he's showing now, is that even though he was very, very exalted, he didn't actually feel like that. This is a strange phenomenon of spiritual life, is that if we're actually becoming advanced, we feel actually fallen. Can you imagine, we can't imagine what platform he's on. And yet he's feeling like that. And so we may think, do I really want to go back to the spiritual world and feel like that, But, the material world's a reflection of the spiritual world, that's the point. Everything's the wrong way around. In a reflection, you see everything the wrong way around, or upside down, or whatever. And so, the feelings that we have in the material world of what success is a disqualification for spiritual life. And the feelings we think in this material world, which are actually, anartha, not needed, are actually very much needed. And so that's the dichotomy of taking to spiritual life, is that in the beginning, we're very much encouraged to be enthusiastic about the process, and this is wanted. And after some time, we start to realize that that doesn't what's the word? It doesn't endure. So the consciousness is gradually changed, and we have to make the effort to do that. And then spiritual life goes on. Like a baby, when he gets up and starts walking, and everybody's ecstatic, aren't they? All the family. And he's walked 3 steps and then fell down. But he's passing stool, and the mother will congratulate him for passing stool sometimes. I've seen that, because he's healthy. You know what I mean? Oh, look what you've done. But when we get to 16-year-old, if we're still doing the same things, it's like, wait a minute. So this is spiritual life, Spiritual life means that we have to, we go through that stage of, being achievers. And then we come to the stage of going inside, introspective. And this is, the purpose of Lord Chaitanya's appearance is that, Krishna said surrender in Bhagavad Gita. And Lord Chaitanya said, just, do what I do. Well, what did he do? He set the most elevated standard of humility. If you just analyze his activities. What is real renunciation? It's Mahaprabhura Bhakta Ganera Vairagya Padan. Yandaki Pritana Gaura Bhagavan. It says renunciation is the principle that sustains the life of Lord Chaitanya's devotees. And what is that renunciation? The renunciation of the material concept of life and the acceptance of the spiritual concept. And this is what we have to, work at. Because the material concept is very much, it'll take us away from the actual real goal. And this is the renunciation that Bhagavad Gita is talking about. And it's not possible to, practice that renunciation without knowledge, as we said yesterday. And that knowledge is coming from Shastra and from the devotees. And so, just like Sanatana Swami is actually submitting himself to Lord Chaitanya. K-am-I, what am I? I don't even know where I am. Why am I suffering the threefold miseries? Why do people say I'm learned, but I'm actually a fool? So this is not the qualification in the material world for getting a job, is it? You know what I mean? If you went in and said, who's this guy? But, this is a qualification for doing something in devotional service. We should feel that I'm completely unqualified. And that, if I don't get Krishna's mercy, then, it'll just be a big flop. There is a devotee called, what's his name now? Mahatma. He used to sing the songs. He still sings, but, he made a couple of, in the 80s or late 70s, he made some, records, and they were well published in ISKCON. But at that time he was brahmachari, and then he was aiming for sannyas, and that year they didn't, there was a few mishaps in the sannyas ashram, so they didn't give out sannyas out that year, so he missed it. And then next year, by the time next year came, he was in Grihastha ashram. How was that possible, And he says, even I was amazed. He said, I didn't know what happened. He says, I was completely convinced, and, I felt that that's what I wanted to do, and then everything changed. But this is not the point I was going to make, but I was just giving a bit of history. But when he was a young brahmachari, he'd been joined for a whole year. whole year. And, somehow or other they needed a temple president. I don't know what happened to the other one. But they put him as temple president. And he was brahmachari. He said, he didn't know what to do. And so, he wrote to Prabhupada and he said, this is the situation. He says, what do I do? He said, I feel completely unqualified. And, he thought, Prabhupada, like, okay, then we'll put somebody in charge who was, a bit. He said, this is a good qualification. He said, that's how you should feel. He said, you should feel that the whole project will flop unless you get Krishna's mercy. How many people feel like that? Sometimes when we're under pressure, but usually, we're like sleeves up. Let's get it. Like a bull in a china shop, So it's difficult to actually develop the balance. The balance is that we feel unqualified, but if we're asked to do it by authorities, we should seriously consider it. The tendency is to think, better let somebody else do it. And, it may be the case sometimes, but generally we should seriously think if people are asking us to do something, to actually do it. And then, we advance in devotional service. We not because of our effort, but because, we've surrendered to the process and we're allowing Krishna to, work, and we have to become dependent on Krishna. So this is called a stretch zone in the corporate world, isn't it? They're always pushing people into the stretch zone. I went to York the other day and we're talking to Ganesh Prabhu. He comes on the Bhakti Shastri, and one week he was saying, what do you do? We're supposed to be humble, but your boss is always shoving you too much. I said, he was thinking that we have to, you should tell them. Wait a minute. So humility is not necessary, but is I was talking about the stretch zone in the material world. You're constantly being pushed into that. Not too stretched, of course. We should be balanced. Well, I wanted to, some examples of Sanatana Goswami. This is about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but we started on this one. And when Lord Chaitanya was in Puri, at this time when this was being spoken, Sanatana Goswami, he travelled from Vrindavan overland by foot. And, he travelled and as a mendicant, so that means he had to drink what water he could, eat what people would offer him. It's like 1,000 miles, isn't it? And so when he reached Jagannath Puri, due to drinking some bad water, he'd actually developed, all sores on his body. His body was trying to reject the germs that were in his body, and he developed boils and sores, and pus was coming out of these boils all over. But when he saw Lord Chaitanya, he kept his distance, and Lord Chaitanya came up and embraced him, and all these pus went all over Lord Chaitanya. And he went, oh God. And so, this was going on, and he felt like committing suicide. He didn't want to actually defile the Lord's body like that. But, Krishna's in the heart, and he told him, what do you think you're going to do? He says, this is my body, not yours. I've got a lot of service to do with this body. And why? We'll find out in a minute why he wanted to use Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami, there was in Jagannath Puri, there was the Pandas, or the Brahmins. They used to, worship the Lord Jagannath, and they would, most of them were Grihastas, so they would get changed at home, and then they'd walk to the temple. I don't know whether they got changed at home or they had some cubicles in the temple. Maybe they did, I don't know. But anyway, Sanatana Goswami was so conscientious that he thought, if I go past the Jagannath temple, I might bump into one of the Brahmins who are going to worship Lord Jagannath. He said, so I'll go another way so I don't, give pain to Lord Jagannath and, upset the Brahmins. And so, it was midday. He used to go to see Lord Chaitanya every day at the Gambhira, and he had to go on the beach. That was the only other way. And when he got to Lord Chaitanya, the Lord Chaitanya looked at him and says, which way did you come? He said, I came on the beach. He said, why? He said, because, I didn't want to defile the Brahmins with his... And Lord Chaitanya was in ecstasy. He said, look at your feet, they're all blistered. But because he'd actually took that humble role, he got all Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Another example of humility is King Prataparudra. He was a pound, shillings and pence man. Humility is not the property of people who've got nothing, because they have to be humble. Real humility means I've got something, but I'm not proud of it. Just like Prabhupada, he was so wealthy, it was unbelievable. All the properties he got, but he'd get a donation one day, and in the same day he'd give it away. So in the same way with King Prataparudra, he was so powerful. India was almost conquered by, not totally conquered, was it? By the Muslims. They went so far, didn't they? Because the Indians couldn't. In sub-Indian contact, they had different kingdoms, and the kings were always fighting amongst themselves. So when the Muslims came and they were united, they conquered the northern part of India. And King Prataparudra, although he was an independent king in the state of Orissa and that part, he was so powerful that they couldn't beat him. Every time they tried to actually capture his kingdom, he just, defeated them. And so he was a very qualified person, but he was also a Vaishnav. He was a devotee of Lord Chaitanya. And when Lord Chaitanya came to Jagannath Puri, he really wanted to see him. Being a Vaishnava, obviously he would. And so he petitioned some of Lord Chaitanya's close associates. And they said, we'll work it out. So he went to Lord Chaitanya. He said, what are you asking me? He says, yeah, he's a pound, shillings and pence man. A sannyas, he shouldn't associate with such people. He said, no, I won't associate with him. And then, they thought how to, so then they go back later and re-petition him. And eventually he said, don't ask me this anymore. He says, it's. So they used to go and glorify King Prataparudra while Lord Chaitanya could hear. And they were like working on his heart, softening his heart. And Lord Chaitanya, hearing this, he was still adamant that, pound, shillings, but, he thought, this King Prataparudra is quite, quite something. And then they told King Prataparudra every Jagannath Puri, every Jagannath festival, he was the king of the whole, the whole country of Orissa. He would get the broom and start sweeping in front of the deities. And that, Lord Chaitanya he softened again. But still, Lord Chaitanya was vairagi. He wouldn't be changed. He was very strict in that. And so, so then, they got a plan. The devotees got a plan. And they told, King Prataparudra, don't come in your opulent gear. And your opulent, your turban, with jewels. And he said, just come in an ordinary white dhoti, And so he came and, they set off with a festival, with a Rath Yatra festival, and they were having kirtan. And Maharaj Prataparudra was, around about. There's another pastime where, he got all his men surrounding Lord Chaitanya. So he was actually looking after the kirtan, because, when you go to Jagannath Puri, there must be 1 million people there at least. If you get in that crowd, you can't get out. You're there for the day, aren't you? And so and then eventually they came halfway to some gardens, and Lord Chaitanya took rest in the gardens. They ushered him into the gardens to take some rest and get some refreshment, and so he laid down. And then they said to King Prataparudra, now's your chance. Go in there and start massaging his feet. It's a pretty iffy thing to do, that, isn't it? You know what I mean? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you start, cheating. So King Prataparudra went in. He must have had some guts. And he started massaging Lord Chaitanya's feet. And he started reciting the Gopi Gita, this is the 33rd chapter, I think it is it? Verse 1 to 9. And, Lord Chaitanya, although he's a renunciate, when he heard about these internal pastimes of the Lord, his heart melted again. And he said, go on chanting. And then, he went on to the next verse and he kept saying, go on chanting. And then he got to the 9th verse. He said, Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam, kavirbe iditam kalma sarpanam, shravana mangalam srimadatam, bhuvi grinantiye buri darjana. And then, Lord Chaitanya, when he heard this verse, he just stood up and his hairs were standing on end. And he just got hold of, King Prataparudra and, give him a real hug. He says, you are the most munificent person. And he kept repeating this. And he says that Prabhupada said that in the purport, he says he didn't even know who it was. He just embraced him because he was chanting this prayer. So this is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. We're all capable of getting that full mercy. He got the full mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And but there's a qualification which is shown by King Prataparudra. That's humility. He was a king, but it's difficult for a king to be humble. Somebody's glorifying every day, and everything you say is like the law. For some people, you can actually order somebody's execution. And so, when you're doing that every day, it's difficult to be humble, isn't it? These are two pastimes of what attracts Lord Chaitanya's mercy. We've got a Sankirtan movement where we go out and we distribute books and we chant the holy name, and we've got to achieve so much. As I was saying the other day, Prabhupada said to his early disciples, I've got all these big projects for my big men. The Americans are achievers, aren't they? And so he knew what they needed to engage in devotional service, but he was more or less saying, this is not really that necessary. The thing is it heart changing by these activities? Then that's success. So it's a subtle difference. Another way of looking at it is we make the effort, but we understand the results dependent on Krishna. This is a balance. We shouldn't aspire to be a close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When we take to this process in the beginning, we're thinking, yes, that's success. I have to work the way up and become a close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like Ishvara Puri, another example. Ishvara Puri, why did he get the position of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master? He was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is the first guru in our line who really, revealed the highest truth of devotional service, which Lord Chaitanya was actually teaching, service in separation. And in the mood of the gopis, before him nobody had really shown that sentiment, and he was showing that when he was at the end of his life. He was calling out, like Dayananda Swami, I'm useless, I could not attain you, in that humble mood. And one of his disciples, Ramachandra was it? Ramachandra, he thought, what is this? He's actually leaving his body and he's acting like a sentimentalist. But he didn't get the mercy of... in fact, Madhavendra Puri said, Mumlas told him to just leave, don't go away, don't... You're spoiling the whole mood. And but Ishvara Puri, he just saw that, he didn't actually even think about it. He just, Madhavendra Puri, he was bedridden. He was having to, pass stool in the bed and so many things. And Ishvara Puri just looked after him in that way. He never complained. And, he used to recite verses for Madhavendra Puri's, hearing about the process of, about devotional service. So he was actually cultivating a good mood. But the really thing that he got the mercy of Madhavendra Puri in that he got the position of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. So if we want to achieve anything in devotional service, it comes by humble service. And in that humble mood, service may be presented, and we can make the option of not taking it. But if it's presented by a few authorities and people are positive, then it's just like, Ishvara Puri. Do you think he would feel qualified to initiate Lord Chaitanya? No. But Lord Chaitanya Lord Chaitanya showed the mood, but because when he took shelter of Ishvara Puri, he also took that humble role. So if we analyse Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, he's always teaching this mood. He says just follow, don't surrender. But when we follow his actual teachings, we've got no alternative to take the humble role. He only quoted 8 verses, as I said yesterday. And all those verses, they're not actually achievers' verses, are they? The first verse is just chant. The next verse is, it doesn't matter, whether it's actually ecstatic chanting or it's this or it's that. It's just, Nam Namakare Bahura Anija Sarva Shaktis. That I'm not qualified to chant, but still to chant, And then the next verse is the Trinada piece, and this is actually the most important verse in our movement, isn't it? Lord Chaitanya said we should wear this verse and a thread around our neck. Because unless we develop that humble mood, which this verse is explaining, then we can't really chant the holy name properly. And then the next verse is, I don't want any material wealth, I don't want the attraction of followers, I don't want the association of the opposite sex. And then the next verse is, Ayinanda Tanudi Kinkaram, I'm just like a speck of dust at the lotus feet of the Lord. The next verse is, in separation. The next verse is feeling like 12 years, feeling a moment is like 12 years in separation. And then Asli Shavapata Ritam Panashtumam. This last verse is that, this is real humility. This is the essence of devotional service, is that I don't care how Krishna treats me. Is that surrender? Lord Chaitanya, this is real surrender. I don't care how he treats me. He may not even want to appear before me, but he'll still remain my worshipful Lord unconditionally. So that's a maintainable situation, isn't it? When everybody's, feeling humble and everybody's serving, what happens? Everybody becomes appreciative, don't they? It's a mutual appreciation society, and everybody wants to serve one another, isn't it? Is that right? Yeah. But what happens if we do the other? Everybody's like, everybody's vying for position. It's like sooner or later there's going to be some problems. So this is why the material world is full of problems. The material world can be the spiritual world, just by that change of consciousness, and that's what Lord Chaitanya has come to deliver. It can when Madai, Jagai and Madai, they wrote the book on sinful activities. In fact, Chandragupta, when he was actually writing down the sinful activities, he actually passed out. He was so exhausted. Is it Chitragupta? Chitragupta is he's like the scribe of Yamaraj. But they wrote the book, and they even went as far as to throw a pot at Lord Chaitanya, and it hit him on the head, and he started bleeding. And then I think it was Jagai. He thought, wait a minute. Somehow he got some intelligence, and Madai was going to hit him again, and he said, stop. And at that moment, Lord Chaitanya was given instruction from his disciples what was happening there, and he came. He was going to actually use his Sudarshan chakra to kill them both, which is what Lord Krishna did, didn't he? Shishupal, like that. Lord Krishna killed all the demons. And so he was in that mood when he saw one of his devotees being, or his main devotee, Lord Nityananda, being treated in that way. But Lord Nityananda, he also showed supreme humility. He approached these most low-class people, and he was actually bowing down before them, asking them to change. And so he got all of the Lord Chaitanya. He said, you can't actually do that in this age. You'll have to kill everybody. They're all like that. He said, we have to kill the mentality. And Lord Chaitanya understood. Actually, that's why I've come. I've not come. People can't change. You have to gradually change the mentality. And so this process that Lord Chaitanya has given us is that dancing, feasting, what else is there? Chanting, dancing and feasting. Very attractive process. Otherwise people won't come. We offer sense gratification first. This is sense gratification, and then people can become attracted. But Lord Chaitanya is very, very, very intelligent. That behind all this is surrender. So this is our work, isn't it? To work at the heart. It's an open heart surgery. And every devotee is very introspective about why something happens, and not that it's his fault. Usually that's the case. It's actually what's my input into this? How can I actually deal with this situation? What do I have to learn? And so there's so many pastimes. We'll stop, but there are so many pastimes where Lord Chaitanya exhibits this mercy, or this humility, and that's meant for our benefit. So I think we'll stop there. Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Is there any questions? I'm not breaking the fast here. It's medicine.
For medicine, it's okay. Maharaj.
Yeah.
Can you give a brief description of Lord Chaitanya in golden complexion?
In what?
In golden complexion. Golden and taking the mode of Radharani.
Suvarna Varna Hemango Varangas Changarangani Shan Askrit Shama Shanta Nitya Yukta or something. Suvarna means golden complexion. Hemango, gold. Suvarna. That Yeah, I just mentioned it yesterday a little bit, didn't I? No, probably everybody's forgot anyway. No, just saying that, Lord Chaitanya has the mood of Srimati Radharani. Very merciful. Srimati Radharani is the best devotee, most humble devotee. That's why she's in number one position. She'll put other devotees forward for service, and she sincerely thinks that these devotees are doing more service than me. And she petitions Krishna, just accept his service. And Krishna accepts because Radharani is petitioning. And so this is the qualification that, and so Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna, he has a particular mood. And Srimati Radharani, being a woman, being a woman, they're generally more soft-hearted, sentimental. They're more soft-hearted, so they're more merciful in that respect. And so Lord Chaitanya took on the form of Krishna. Krishna took the form of took the body of Krishna, but the colour of Srimati Radharani and the sentiments of Srimati Radharani. And that's why he's golden. I don't know much more than that.
Small bit more.
Eh?
Yes. Please help me to clarify my view on.
Yeah.
On
Yes,
the
there's that.
living entity is in the marginal, but is it both male and female, or?
He's not marginal. That's Tatastha Shakti. He's Antaranga Shakti, internal potency. He's situated in his own, there's two potencies. We'll just briefly explain this. There's Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. We're Jiva Tattva. We're a separated energy of Krishna. But the Vishnu Tattva are directly expansions of Krishna. The Vishnu forms, Lord Chait, and Nisringadev, Vamana, they're all different categories of incarnations, all different empowered, but they're actually on the platform of Vishnu Tattva, the direct expansions of the Lord. And so Srimati Radharani is, the first expansion is that Krishna divides himself, Eko Bahusham. First expansion is he becomes Radharani, which is not different from Krishna, but a different energy. And that energy is called Shakti Tattva. And so she's not Jiva Tattva like us. So Lord Chaitanya is a mixture of Shakti Tattva and Vishnu Tattva. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahiyanya. There's no difference between Radha and Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. So, you were talking about Shakti, how we can't do that. We're a different, we're under a certain, we are made in a certain way, and we're servants. And if we try to function in another way, it'll just, it won't work. When we function in our natural constitutional situation, then everything works nicely, and we feel completely satisfied, whatever that may be. Yeah. Yeah.
So the dad is also meant to be Srimati Radharani.
Yeah.
What Shakti is that?
Shakti type.
It's like we don't say Panchatattva Bhagavan.
Hey?
We don't call Panchatattva Bhagavan.
What's?
Panchatattva.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're told to refrain from saying Panchatattva Bhagavan.
No, in Panchatattva there's three Vishnu Tattvas, one Shakti Tattva and one Jiva Tattva.
Yeah.
So this is the old gambit of relationships.
Shakti Tattva, is that the same as, it's not, that's, you can't term that to be Vishnu Tattva.
You can't what?
term that to be equal to Vishnu.
It's an energy. I mean, Srimati Radharani, you know, she is actually, you know, in one respect, Krishna.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's more than, you know, even Vishnu Tattvas in one respect. So, you know, I wouldn't like to go into it in too much detail, but, you know, she's residing in Goloka Vrindavan, Vishnu Tattva are outside Loka Vrindavan, they're in the Vaikuntha planets. So it's a different Tattva altogether, you can't compare them. And, you know, even the Jiva Tattva, he can reside in Goloka Vrindavan, and the Vishnu Tattvas are not there. You know, so are the Vishnu Tattvas upset by that? No, because they have their particular, you know, when we're in spiritual life, everybody's satisfied by the situation. They do like to see Lord Krishna sometimes, though, don't they? They actually make arrangement.
Such is the attractiveness.
Eh?
Such is the attractiveness of the Lord Krishna.
I used to get an hearing aid, you know.
Such is the attractiveness of Lord Krishna that even his expansions find him attractive.
Expansions of,
Krishna
yeah,
find Krishna attractive.
yeah,
Is it correct? Isn't it?
yeah. He's all attractive.
Sakala Rasamruta Murti, Akila Rasamruta.
Yeah, he's a reservoir of all
Yeah,
relationships.
Akila Rasamruta Murti.
That's why he can reciprocate with everybody just according to their, you know, what their desire.
So Vajracharya is a good example.
Advaitacharya,
It's a good example of
yeah. Yeah, Advaitacharya. Okay, we've got a long day today.
Swami Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Gaur Purnima Mahamotsav ki.
Jai.
So thank you very much, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Wonderful. I think you touched the most important aspect of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching, I must say. That the most important of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching is the cultivation of humility. You know, especially for devotees, Maharaj said this is like an ornament. People like to wear ornaments so that they can attract others' attention. Yes, by wearing this ornament, we attract the attention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna.
So we can be proud of his humility, right?
Yes. So humility is the ornament that will attract the mercy. Actually, you know, in devotional service, we can't even continue if we don't have this humility, because we come across with so many kind of people, we interact with a number of people, and different people are in different modes, different way they talk. So humility is.
In Yorkshire, they say there's nothing so queer as folk. You know, it's like everybody's different and everybody's got their own. So it's like you just have to, you know, we have to. You know, it's not like when we go to the spiritual world, we've got his own pad and that's it. You know, we don't have to associate with it. It's like whatever we've experienced in here, you know, we have to learn to deal with it because we'll experience it here.
Yeah.
But you know, we're purified and be able to deal, and you know, and that means getting rid of this enjoying spirit, isn't it? We want to enjoy, separate from Krishna. But if we put Krishna in the centre, then you know, automatically we like encourage somebody to. If somebody's giving Krishna more pleasure, well, go on. Just like that's Srimati Radharani. And you know, if we forget about what we need, and then everything's taken care of, we get more than what we need. It's like that example, isn't it, where I don't know, this is it was an interfaith thing to say originally, but you know, at these interfaith meetings they'll sometimes be a question, what's the definition of heaven? What's the definition of hell? You know, they'll all give the different. No, one definition is, you know, there's 2 rooms, and there's some, you know, and in one room we go inside, and there's like a big table, and there's all opulent food on that table, and you know, there's all these people sat around this table, and they're all like sulking and grumbling, and and then, they shut the door, and this person who was asking, he said, what was all that about? He says, I'll tell you in a minute. Then they go in another room, and everybody's like in ecstasy, and it's the same table and the same food. And, in the other room, everybody's got the same spoon. It's like 6 foot long. And it's, they're trying to eat, but it's all that opulent food and they can't get it in their mouth. So that's why they're grumbling. In the other room, everybody's using the spoon, they're feeding everybody.
Yeah.
So that's a spiritual world.
Yes.
And it's like that. When we actually stop trying to please ourselves, we get so much pleasure.
True. Agree. It's a very nice point, isn't it? If you really want to be happy, serve others. That's the point. By serving others, that's it, isn't it? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not only preaching, but he's also practicing this humility.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, he's practicing this humility. So the next Sunday class, I'm going to give the same talk and give this example. And then I'll say, okay, it's time for Prashadam now. I'll say who's going to be first. Big trial.
Hare Krishna.